Yeah, you work on that. I think that's probably focus, at least from the standpoint of driving the car, was always something I said that was a training program. The races when I was a kid were 8 laps, and then they were 10, and then they were 12, and then they were 20, and then they were 50, and then you get into cars. So that focus grows, and then all of a sudden you're at the Coke 600 for 5+ hours, or the Southern 500, or the Indy 500 for 4 hours, and that focus, you don't know how to do that out of the box. So there's that focus that is something that's nurtured and grown, and then the ability itself to just block out the noise. I feel like, yes, it's possible to be insecure, and I think that the reason why I didn't get insecure about the shit people were saying about me was because I was doing my best. I was trying hard. I was putting in the effort. There wasn't anything I wasn't prepared to do to make it all happen. And so if you're a lazy person and you don't do what you think you should be doing, then when somebody says something bad, you're going to feel insecure because you know exactly how you could have done better. So I didn't leave those things to chance. Like, I didn't leave myself open for criticism in a way that would be, highly insulting to me. I did the work. I think that's valuable. I think that's an important lesson. If you're going to do something and not be offended when you're putting in your best work, what am I going to do? Just not like myself? I mean, there's times I don't like myself, but that's the alternative, is to just not like yourself, even though you've been doing your best, which doesn't usually happen. So you got to put the effort in.
When I think about going all in on something, putting in the effort, to me, it's driven by what you said, you've got to want something. Like, there's got to be something that you're driven by, whether it's a dream or whatever. What makes you cultivate that? Like, do you find that life is better when you have some intense thing that you're chasing? Like, you've launched 2 businesses recently. There's obviously a sense for you of either wanting to do things that you just enjoy intrinsically, or once you make it a company, it seems like maybe there's something more to it than that. Like, what is the organizing principle of your mind? Like, for me, mine is I need to matter. That's very important to me. So whatever I do, and I'm not saying that's good or bad, I'm saying it is true. I need to matter. I have invested a lot of putting value on that, deciding that it's something I want to care about, deciding it needs to be a part of my life. And because of that, I get a huge neurochemical reward when I do things that I see echoing through the world. So that's a big thing for me. I always pursue that. Do you have something like that? Like, you've worked so fucking hard to get where you are. Like, why try so hard?
Yeah. Every now and again, I think to myself, I could just do nothing. I'm sure you've thought the same thing from time. 100%. I could just do nothing. In fact, people were asking me at the end of my career, they're like, oh, these companies that are launching, is this your backup plan? I'm like, that's cute, but I don't really need one. I mean, I'm just being honest. Like, I have been very fortunate in my career. I don't need a backup plan, but I tell you what, really every company I have is super organic, even racing. Like, it just happened. I was 10. I surely wasn't funding it. So whether it was my wine company that started in 2009, Somnium, it means dream in Latin. And that's because I was just standing over a grassy knoll at Quintessa Vineyards in Napa, looking south to the fog pulling down back into San Francisco, drinking at 10 a.m. and thinking, God, I want something like this someday. And then it happened. That's literally what I thought. I want something like this someday. Bought the property. That was 2006. The first vintage, 14, was sold in 17. Long project. That's why I think a lot of winemakers are fairly older, a lot of proprietors, because they don't have the money to do it until they're older, because it's a long process. But that's Somnium, and it means dream. The clothing line was just because I love being creative. I actually went into the company that was producing it and talked about making clothes for the racetrack. And they heard my passion for design and my interest in clothes and that whole world, the artistic side of me. And they never had a sketch of one single race t-shirt. It was all just clothes for everyday life. So they heard my interest loud and clear, that went way beyond just the racetrack. My book, Pretty Intense, was really just because I really attribute it to posting one yoga picture so many years ago on Instagram, and people loved it, and I posted more, and if of everything that I do, it's really not actually the bulk of what I do, but people see that, they love it, it resonates, they're interested, it's aesthetically pretty, and it gave me a reputation for being into fitness. And I'm like, God, I've always done this. I've worked out since I was 14 years old for racing. So that kind of started it all. And then there was someone who was interested in writing a health and fitness book, and I'm like, okay. The question was, do I want to write one? And I was like, yeah, I think I have finally something to say. Health and fitness and wellness and waking up and taking care of yourself and enjoying life is, really what I stand for now. So that's a super long story of all my companies. But bottom line is they were all born from an idea or a passion. They were not like, I want to make money, let's do this. Now, it doesn't mean I haven't taken endorsements in the past that were about money, but it doesn't mean that I will start a company unless I truly believe in it and I am ready for it and I'm ready for the work, because of course it's the journey. It's not, I think that if you attach yourself to, I'm going to call it like a impure goal almost of making money or something like that, I think you're too short-sighted, and I think that I think you inherently block that actually. You make the wrong choices because you're thinking too short-term or too small.
Do you have any rules to a journey that you're about to go on? Like, I don't want to think small, I'm going to think big. It has to be fun in the moment, or like, what are the guiding principles that you use?
Intuition. It just has to feel right. There's been plenty of projects that I've been like theoretically interested in figuring out how to make into something. And nothing's felt right for a few different things. And I think you have to learn how to identify the flow of life, which I'm definitely learning as I'm one of those people that likes to force things to happen. Yes. Force them to happen. They're gonna.
I'm with you.
But here's the thing. Yes, you need to try harder and you need effort and you need to push at times. That's very important. But you have to learn that when you keep hitting a wall with something and, oh, this isn't right and this isn't working and this is, oh, that person's wrong and that's happening and, oh, now this, when you start to like bump up against a bunch of those things that just don't feel like it's flowing, and you kind of have to wake up and realize, maybe this isn't for me. And that's kind of actually what happened with my career even, was there was tons of things, starting with losing my primary sponsor, which was no problem I had ever had in the past, that started me to wake up to realize these other things, and then to notice, oh my gosh, I have all these other companies that need attention. That could be really fun. So you start finding evidence of how it's not the flow anymore. So, I didn't make a huge effort. I very much was I was really, really letting it flow when it came to a sponsorship situation in 2017 to move forward into 18. And when things just didn't flow right, I'm like, it's okay. Just got to let it go. So the way I describe my retirement is that I had to learn how to let go. I didn't feel like I was quitting, because I could have pushed and made it happen and compromised and taken a smaller salary or gone to a different team or something like that. But I was like, no, I'm just going to let go.
And so letting go for you, are you somebody who embraces change? Do you have a hard time with change? It certainly seemed like at the end of the career, it was relatively easy for you.
I cut my hair for the first time. I'm totally good with change. This is like the epicenter of like, whoa, Danica, you're totally okay with change. I think I react probably like every human being when it comes to something dramatic and big. It's somewhat shocking and scary, and you're not up for it. I remember when my sponsor had left, the first thought was, oh no, I'm not ready. Oh no, I'm not ready. And actually
not ready to retire.
Not ready to retire. And I remember thinking, that feels good to say that. Oh yeah, I'm not ready. Now that evolved and changed, but I think that it's you really have to pay attention to the way you feel about a situation, and feel if it's right for you and whether or not you need to keep moving.
Talk to me about how you force things. I'm guessing, judging by the outcome, that you're quite adept at figuring out how to push. How did you make your racing career happen? And I get there was probably a lot of intuition and opportunities presenting that you take advantage of, but where were the moments of push? How can people leverage that in their life? Because this is one thing that so we just launched Impact Theory University. And one of the things, thank you, I'm psychotic about this. I think it really has potential.
I'm not super smart, but I'd love to be a professor.
Hey, we'll film today.
Let's just get off on a tangent real quick.
Please,
about school.
Yeah.
Right? School curriculum sucks. I'm so glad I didn't waste my time with it. Because who uses geometry? Who uses human anatomy class? And we're not if you want to be a doctor, please go to school, right? I want you to have some experience cutting a frog open before me, but there's certain things that it's important. But where's the meditation class? Where's the manifesting class? Where's the real life stuff that it scares me to think we're getting away from PE. I mean, a pull-up could save your life. You could fall off a cliff and need a pull-up, I mean, these are the things that can really make a difference in your life. So I don't know. Now that you're starting your own university,
yes.
What are your thoughts on school?
My thoughts are uber intense. And so I'll give you a snippet with the
Well, I'm pretty
the
intense, so this falls right into the line.
Nice. So my thing is, I think that humans can't change about 50% of what they do and are, and that's why I find you and your sister so fascinating. I'd be so curious to know how much of that was the 50% that's unchangeable, and how much is the 50% that is completely malleable. And the 50% that is completely malleable could change your life so radically. And there are universal principles of success. There are just certain ways that people should think. And one of them, my friend, dear professor of how to push, is the ability to get shit done. So the title of your biography was Danica Patrick Crosses the Line. Mm-hmm. Get over the fucking finish line. And I find so often people, to your point, they don't want anything. And so they don't put the energy to get something across the finish line. And that really fucks with me, because I think that that's born of the 50% that is changeable. So it's over here, you have
wanting something.
Yes, you have a belief system that you don't even realize you have. Yep. You don't realize you assimilated beliefs the entire time you were growing up. So somewhere along the line, you decided that you could do this shit. I mean, you literally said, if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. Right. So one, you've cobbled together this really fucking interesting mindset, which you lay out in your book, so I know is real. Two, your life is a pretty clear reflection of this stuff. So my thing is since you know how to push, what is it? I know some of it's intuition. I'm going to rob you of that answer. Beyond intuition,
okay.
What is it?
It's actually the hardest one, because you have to find a way to authentically, not just lip service, but authentically believe you can do it, which is hard, because doubt is, how many times does our mind race about doubt, whether it's in work or relationship or anything,
How do you deal with it?
Well, first you have to be passionate about something. And then you have to set the right goal, right? The goal of I want to make a difference. I believe I can make a difference. Or I want to make amazing wine. I believe I can do that. I know I can do that. You've got to use some neuroplasticity shit and get that mind changed. You have to retrain your brain and put the right podcasts in front of you, the right TV shows, the right people around you, read the right books, write in your journal, write down what you want. How many times I look at how many times I've written down something I want, and I'm like, oh my God, I got it. It's scary. So I think that there's some magic in there. But it's really about retraining your brain to believe something is possible. So I think that you can fake it till you believe it, but there has to be a way where you authentically believe you can do it.